Hello everyone, and welcome to this special review as I look at a movie about the making of one of the worst films ever made. And in addition to talking about this new film directed by James Franco, I'll also be discussing Tommy Wiseau's infamous picture that has inspired midnight screenings, memes, and all sorts of jokes at its expense. I'm referring to The Room. Now, The Room has gotten the same cult status as something like Troll 2 and Manos the Hands of Fate. It's the kind of movie people like to riff on and laugh at. However, I'm sorry, I don't fall into that category because The Room genuinely frustrates me. I find it a hard sit because the whole thing was clearly made with no regard for proper filmmaking, and it just annoys me more than anything. Unlike something like Troll 2, where there's always something entertainingly insane going on top of making a sequel to a film that's otherwise unconnected to. The Room is like a lesson in how not to direct a movie and write a screenplay. This is a film that will randomly insert establishing shots where they're not needed. In The Room, we get scenes of characters having conversations like, "Oh, hi Mark, how are you? I'm good, how are you? I'm doing okay." There's a reason we don't hear those sorts of conversations in films, because they sound unnatural in that medium and just comes across as clunky. Then there are the multiple scenes that serve little purpose. Do we really need a scene of the main protagonist buying flowers for his fiancée?
Hi.
Can I help you?
Yeah, can I have a dozen red roses, please?
Oh, hi, Johnny. I didn't know it was you. Here you go.
That's me. How much is it?
It'll be $18.
Here you go. Keep the change. Hi, doggy.
You're my favorite customer.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Or how about the future mother-in-law who just nonchalantly mentions having breast cancer?
I got the results of the test back. I definitely have breast cancer.
Oh boy, I cannot wait for that to not develop. There's no emotional drama, and watching these actors, I feel like I'm watching a high school play, where every delivery is stilted and everyone is just trying to find their mark. I understand why The Room has developed into a cult phenomenon, but it's not something I can take part in with any sort of enjoyment. Despite my feelings towards the film itself, I do think the story about its making is endlessly fascinating, which brings us to this week's release of The Disaster Artist. At its core, this is essentially a buddy movie about two aspiring actors, with equal focus on Greg Sestero and Tommy Wiseau. A good portion of the film is actually spent on them meeting and trying to make it in Los Angeles long before we even get into the making of The Room. It seems unusual for Dave and James Franco to play these roles, but I think that helps as they have excellent chemistry. It also makes it believable that Sestero continues to stick around, despite Wiseau's unusual behavior and the mysteries surrounding him. We need these early scenes to provide the proper context for the later moments when they do begin shooting the movie. I don't think this film would have worked nearly as well if it was merely a series of in-jokes. The funniest parts of The Disaster Artist do come from witnessing the making of The Room. Seth Rogen, playing the script supervisor, represents the audience in many ways, as he's befuddled by Wiseau's directing choices. It's also hilarious seeing actors like Jackie Weaver, Zac Efron, and Josh Hutcherson recite this dialogue. Most importantly, The Disaster Artist does not put Tommy Wiseau on a pedestal. He's not some misunderstood genius. He's somebody who just happened to make a really crummy movie and spent $6 million, which came from who knows where. And the film does show his egomaniacal directing style without sugarcoating his personality. Wiseau apparently approves of the film, which sort of surprises me, as it does not portray him in the best light. Ultimately, this becomes a very funny and rather farcical look at that side of Hollywood we don't often see, of filmmakers making movies in back alleys with actors trying to catch their big break. I've seen The Disaster Artist compared to Ed Wood due to both being about filmmakers trying to make movies, although I think Ed Wood was a more likable director who had at least some knowledge of the process. But there are also elements of Boogie Nights here. Either way, it's worth seeking out as it slowly expands over this award season. Thanks for watching this week's review, and I'll see you next time.